Everything has a mind of its own.
I guess that's the drawback to everything being connected is
yeah. But when you're in bed and then like you need things done and you just tell your Alexa to do it, it's like, oh my god, get out.
So it's better than the clapper, right?
The thing about the clapper though is that it doesn't require Wi-Fi.
Right, and you can't you could accidentally set it off, but it's not as, we say the word Google so much, that the Google device will sometimes go off because it'll think it hears I can't say it because the phone's right there, but it thinks it hears the primer word. And Alexa can be the same way. The early echoes, dots, and things like that are the voice stuff's not as good, but whatever. I don't know. I've got the voice AI and stuff, but I don't use it that much. You've got smart lights and stuff all hooked up.
I do actually.
Like it?
And let me see if this works. I don't know. I haven't done it in a while. Alexa, red alert.
Nice.
I have a background zone, but you can't see right now. And actually, I have a white light in front of me. But Alexa, be quiet. I have the room actually turns red.
Cool.
There's a lamp in here also. Near where my daughter sleeps, and like the whole room, everything will go red, and it's just fun. And then for ambient noise at night, I have the Enterprise Warp Core. So like, and if at night the bedroom just hums, like if we're in the engine room, it's nerdy, but it's me.
That's kind of cool. I've never. I mean, you could take any sound you could find off of any movie and throw it on a loop, I guess. But I had never heard of someone with a Star Trek white noise generator.
Yeah, dude. Star Trek's my jam, bro. And I'm one of those people of the mind, and I've seen Nick say it too sometimes, that Star Trek is better than Star Wars. So, and I like Star Wars fine, by the way. But I mean, saying as far as preference for me, I'm like, you like when it's got to go. I'm like, sorry, Luke, but
I hate Shatner though, and classic Star Trek. I can't stand it. Dude, I hate it so bad. Like if it wasn't for him, I think I could probably stand classic Star Trek a little bit more. But yeah, anyways, good morning everyone. Welcome to LR Mornings today with Kyle and obviously
Manny.
Yeah. Hey. Freaking the hashtag show allegedly has an exclusive, okay? Hey, it's from one of their own sources. Of course, they don't give things away. Hey, you guys need to take this with a grain of salt because it involves Spider-Man. And anything these days related to Spider-Man and almost anything other than comics and toys, which we know good of Marvel and Disney. Like everything else is like like that. And their source is saying, okay, that we're set to see the Spider-Verse in the No Way Home, and that Sony and Marvel will let's see how they word this. So where does that leave Spider-Man? Well, that was a huge point of contention during the renegotiations a while back. We have exclusively learned that Sony will continue making their SCEU. For those of you that don't know, that's the Sony. No. That they're wrong for that. It's supposed to be the Sony Cinematic Universe of Marvel Characters, SUMC. I don't know why they're calling it the SCEU. But anyways, with Marvel continuing with Spider-Man as well, that means splitting the franchise in two. From what I've heard, and this is still the article from reliable sources, and the hashtag show, they're not like the worst source in the world, but again, grain of salt. Marvel is looking to create 2 Spider-Man franchises. One will continue Parker's story, this time with him at university. The other will focus on Miles Morales. It's said that Marvel is keen to use Miles in their upcoming Young Avengers project, which is just a rumor itself and like a logical idea, but I don't know if that's going to end up being a movie or show or what, but from what I've heard from my sources, No Way Home is going to provide a much clearer roadmap for Spider-Man in the MCU. I've also heard reports that Spider-Man 4 will film back-to-back, unless they've got a new director. No, because Watts is headed to Marvel's first family, but they do put in parentheses, we have yet to corroborate this. Either way, Marvel is already looking for writers and directors for these 2 franchises. Peter and Miles have 2 completely different stories. They want writers and directors who can bring distinct voice to each other. Marvel and Sony, according to sources, are also concerned about branding. They're worried that having 2 Spidey franchises at the same time will confuse audience members. Having a strong vision behind each is their primary strategy. There are vague ideas of bringing the 2 together for some Spider-Man crossover, but that's years down the line with no story ideas of to speak of. Yeah, I react, Manny. What do you think there? Just do you buy what the source is saying? What do you think?
I don't. It's funny because I see that story and I don't really see it as something big or something new. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're obviously gonna try. They're going to keep making Spider-Man movie number 1. Right. And yeah, with as popular as Miles Morales was in the animated film, and then he has his own video game, you should be developing a film already with him, and you have to do Peter Parker, of course, to keep him relevant in the MCU. So,
what's big about this to me, if true, and some of the writing, I'm wondering if the source maybe lost something in translation from playing the telephone game. I'm not 100% certain, but it does kind of echo what Tom Holland had said not too long ago, that he thinks, he was wording it carefully, but he basically said, I think there's a plan in place. I've been on phone calls. I think he said like 2 or something like that, or more, to talk about, continuing with Sony and Marvel. And he said he felt good about it. When you look at that combined with that little teaser of Vulture in Morbius, not even getting into all of the big theories about No Way Home and multiverses and stuff, just those alone show that idea that Marvel and Sony may loosely blend their characters together, potentially even in Prime, like the current Venom Morbius will be loosely there, or maybe. That's what it kind of feels like to me. It feels like potentially more confirmation that, as of now, I might be wrong when I said Sony's going to take Spidey and go home. What do you think about that?
The partnership has to continue. Disney has no choice but to really bend at whatever Sony wants to do, because at the end of the day, Spider-Man is Sony's toy. Mm-hmm. And with how important he is for Marvel in general, because it's funny because this would be the equivalent of DC not having the rights to Batman or Superman.
Yeah.
Like, how does that? It's it sucks because I'm usually not the biggest advocate for the mouse, absorbing everything. Mm-hmm. But Spider-Man's one of the things that they should have, you would think. And that's why I always joke around that there's going to be a point where Disney can't buy Spider-Man, so they're going to buy Sony. But it's tough though, because then they do what they want. They did what they did with Venom, and you kind of cringe to think at what they're going to do with some of the other characters. Spider-Man's been, but Spider-Man's had some help also by from Feige and Marvel Studios. They've really worked well together, because it's to the benefit, of course, of Marvel Studios, who needs a good Spider-Man to appear in their movies as well. So it's kind of a little. I see it as a little bit of a mess, but I mean, if you can keep that symbiotic relationship, and just
do that too.
I have it's not clean right now, so background. Anime. Yeah, I cringe though at some of the ideas that Sony has for their films, and I'm 50% right now on Morbius. The only thing that for me is saving grace is that I think Jared Leto is a fantastic actor, and it makes for interesting for me to watch it for that reason. And then some of the other things, some of the other things that they've talked about that they're developing, I was like, why? Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So,
like the their Aunt May's spy movie, their Black Cat and Silver Sable, their Madam Web, who Sony. Sorry, guys, stutter. Please, Sony, tell me who pitched Madam Web as a movie. I am not a violent person. I have actually, I think I've only ever used violence in self-defense, but I will gladly punch this person in the face. I said a while ago, back when Jammer and I were covering the meltdown in 2019, and this has got to go because I hate these things. I was just being funny, but I absolutely cannot stand and I've got a green screen. Maybe one day I'll do it the right way. I cannot stand the way Sony. I know what you said is true. Yeah, they've worked with Marvel and what Tony Venezuela, whatever the hell, or the other guy. There's two at Sony during this time that were like smack talking. One of them was a former Fox exec, and one of them I think had been at Sony for a bit, and they were like, "Oh, we know Feige's playbook. We know how Marvel does things." Those comments from them just screamed the cockiness of what I had been saying, which was, "Here, Marvel, fix our problem. Let us see how you do it, and then we're gonna go and just keep doing that." And I swear, I believe they intended to do that until they saw the backlash. I don't think Sony really realized what it means to almost everyone to have Peter Parker with Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk, like that is so. That would like you said, like a Justice League without bats or soups, or thanks to the '90s cartoon and comics run, and of course the films, having sold Wolverine to someone and having 8 X-Men films without Wolverine. It's a scary thought. And so I told you, Jammer, I don't want Venom anywhere near. I don't want Amy Pascal. I don't want like anyone connected to Sony anywhere near my MCU. But I'll take that over losing Holland and Spidey all together. Nick and some of the wording in this, the idea of splitting the franchises, and that will follow Miles on his own and will follow Peter on his own in university. That gives me a little worry because that almost sounds like maybe Peter's going to go play over in the Sony universe, and maybe Nick. Oh God, Nick was right. Look, Nick was right, and that Marvel would get to use Miles before Sony would. I don't know, but that splitting franchise and not talking to each other is a weird thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, Miles is supposed to be in a different multiverse universe, so maybe that's it. That they're gonna put him on a different New York City. It's really strange, just because it seems like Sony wants to. You think they learned something by now, right?
No.
and so I'm just confused at some of their decision making and the lack of planning, because at this point, especially after the 2 films and now with their 3rd Spider-Man film, you'd think that they'd have a better plan. You'd think they'd okay, this is what we need to do with the character. This is what the character needs to be, because the character is also going to be needed in the MCU for this moment or this film. And then we're going to use these characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we have we have to uphold the quality, and we've been able to get help, but it just seems like they're content with just the fact that they're putting out films from the Spider-Man universe,
yes,
and not necessarily too worried about really world building and making like they don't have a bigger picture.
No.
And
go ahead.
And that's dangerous because then your individual films that you're developing now don't necessarily have and no pun intended, an end game. They don't have something bigger in mind, because if you think about it, Venom, it's going to be a little bit more the story between Tom Hardy's Venom and then Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it now gets weird, because it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be almost anything like what we've seen in even animated or television or comic books. That's what I meant to say. And so you really start messing up with these characters' legacies, man.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I don't know. It's a mess.
It's you're right when it comes to who the idea of planning. What I can see going on is that original idea of, you guys, let's do our Sony thing. We're getting Webhead back. He's coming back, right? And that's what 2019 was all about. They knew Far From Home was perfect. He's running away. They could just say he goes to San Francisco, ignore the MCU, not even pretend that it's a universe like Sony. Like, I honestly believe that's what was going to happen. And then it would just ignore MCU stuff and all be Sony stuff. And to be fair, theoretically, they could do that because there's enough Spidey bad guys for him to be busy and not have to go do Avengers stuff, you know. But I know how popular Miles is. I told Nick I was like, they would let Marvel keep Peter for 10 more years before they would ever let Marvel get Miles in any type of exclusive or upper hand deal. Like, Sony can't wait to put Miles in live action. I honestly don't know. And everyone points to Spider-Verse, the cartoon movie, which critically successful, home video successful, theaters not very successful. Great movie, the terrible villain, the Kingpin bit, almost unnecessary. Like, you could have done it all with Prowler. Like, you don't even need Kingpin other than to be the head of a group of criminals, where Prowler would be the main thing. The whole family thing was weird, but the way we understand from reports during that movie's making and stuff like that was because it was a cartoon, it wasn't going to cost as much money. Sony execs didn't put their hands all over it like they like to do other things, and it turned out pretty decent. They don't seem to be able to do the same with live action things costing $150 million, which is understandable. So I don't know that I trust Sony with Miles. I'll be honest. I love Miles. I hated Ultimate Spider-Man. Miles was a game changer for that story, and when he started mixing with 616, I really enjoyed it. For a while, that's the book I had on my pull list, was Miles, not Peter's book, you know. I trust Feige and company with Miles way more, because I fear Sony wanting to be able to film the movie faster, so hiring a 19, 20-year-old kid to play a 13, 14-year-old Miles, because I think Miles should be like middle school, maybe freshman at most. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think that at least get the casting right for it. And I think with the character like Miles, I'd hope that they'd want to partner up so that he can be shared. But at the same time, maybe that's something that they want to do completely on their own. And I mean, I thought they had pretty good casting with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, Emma Stone. I thought the cast was fine. Okay, not Jamie Foxx as Elektra. That was the absolute worst. Absolute worst. But their stories were horrible. And just yeah, and you know, the second movie they did was just a giant teaser trailer for another movie. They forgot to put it in the movie because they were so busy trying to tell you that, oh my god, these so great things are coming in the next film. So I don't. And then Venom happened, and you know, it's one of the two movies where I verbally got upset. Audibly, loudly got upset.
I did too. Thank God I was at home. Were you in the theater getting upset?
In the theater.
Oh God!
I had one of the kids that had gone with me turn to me and go, "That's not how Venom was born, right?" Like he was confused.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's not. And then The other, just for reference, the other movie where I got very upset was Iron Man 3 when the Mandalorian ended up not being the Mandalorian. The
I
Mandarin.
know what you meant.
Sorry.
Mandarin.
The Mandarin. No, yeah, that was the other one. Anyway, but yeah, so who's to say we can trust Sony with anything?
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for help from MCU, would these Tom Holland films be as good as they are?
No, they didn't even want Holland. You heard about that, right? The Russo brothers had to fight for. They're like, no, this is Spider-Man. This is Peter Parker, and I know, some people have allegiances to the Spider-Man films. They were 10 years old when they came out, whether that's Maguire or Garfield. I was 17 or Spidey came out in 2002, right? So he has 17 when that came out. And I loved it at the time because that's the type of that's what you expect from a comic book movie. But the MCU spoiled us, man. Anybody that says, like, I got it. There's amalgamations of Ultimate and 616 with things like Fury and some of the movies like Avengers, obviously, is Ultimates 1 mixed with Avengers 1, where the Avengers fought Loki. And in Ultimates, they fight the Chitauri, which in Ultimates stood in for the Skrulls. So they've done this wonderful mix where it's heavy 616, enough Ultimate to keep it contemporary and modern, and their own stuff. While Sony is just like to take the characters and write whatever the fuck you want. Like you said, Venom's not having the right origin really hinders the contention between him and Spidey.
Right.
Because it's twofold. It's Brock and the symbiote that can't stand him. And that's important. And now you almost have to spend an entire movie devising during the first act a way to get the symbiote to leave Brock and join Peter for Act 2, and then immediately get it to leave Peter for Act 3. You know what I'm saying? If you want to fix that, the wording of this is both worrying and comforting because, like I said, part of it sounds like, yes, we'll get to keep Spidey in the MCU. They're going to share it. How much will touch each other, I don't know. But then that split franchise, and you can't have Miles without the mentor of Peter.
Right.
And the eventual death of Peter. You just can't.
But but you see what you're saying is, and you mentioned the Avengers. Mm-hmm. There's a plan there. That plan had spin-off films that led to events, and now it has spin-off TV series. But there's a plan there. There's a thought process. We're gonna run these characters this way. We're gonna run this character this way. But they're all gonna go towards the same goal because they all live in the same universe. They all need to interact with each other. They have stories together, and because of that, they did Endgame, and all that happened, and the snap in 5 years, but the characters were left intact in a way where they can be used and they can still grow. Who could have thought that Wanda Maximoff would finally become the Scarlet Witch after
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. And so there's so much more story there, right?
Yes.
And even the Loki, who unfortunately did not make it the first time around.
Yeah.
Has his own story, but there was a very clear way of bringing it back. And so I mean, it's just you have side characters on the next one, Falcon Winter Soldier, same thing. You know, there's just there's so much thought behind it. There's a plan, and with Sony, especially, you know, taking Venom, and then them going straight almost to Morbius. Like, what's the plan? These are you're just putting out films to put out films.
Oh, and all of these villains, like you and I, big comic book fans. You know, you guys can see my Marvel Superhero Squad toys behind me and stuff like that. We know how important villains and plans and all of that is in comics. We understand what goes on in writing rooms when there's time for crossover events and things like that. Basically, it's just Sony is, like I said, I honestly believe they just pushed forward thinking in 2019 we're taking him back, and now they're like, well, fuck, we had our own plan. I think they had a terrible, horrible, uncoordinated plan, but I think Sony had an idea. We're going to put Spidey here. These villains will have their own movies here. But nowhere near the plan detail like Marvel. Like, I guarantee you, Feige, he's got two trees up. The Sony partner tree and then the no more Sony partner tree. I guarantee it. He doesn't like to talk about the no Parker, no Spidey tree, but it exists. I guarantee it. There's no way that man doesn't have a plan just in case, seeing how close they came to losing. Because I think Disney went in with good faith, and I don't think Sony did that meeting in 2019. What do you think? Gun to your head. Do you think Sony went into the meeting with good faith and intentions of negotiating, or do you think at that moment they intended to take him home?
I think they were just gonna try to get the most out of it because they know they had some leverage. So, you know, kind of a disingenuine work together, but in a way where, yeah, we'll work with you, but it's going to cost you this much, or this is what we want. And it's a very uncomfortable and unfamiliar territory for Disney for them not to have the upper hand with something, which in a way it does make me happy just to see them get, you know, boiled a little bit, right? Because usually they're the ones doing it, but at the same time, man, that sucks for the character and for all of us who really enjoy it, because they have him tied in with so much now. You know, there's with that entire phase of Marvel and Endgame, and with the two parks over in Disneyland and Disney World. He's a featured character in the, you know, the Marvel areas. So your hair's fine, Kyle.
No, I was just trying to get it off my face, but in the camera it's a mirror, so it's like, wait, which way do I do
yeah.
it?
Yeah, so it sucks, man. I really think that I think that Feige not only has a separate not Sony tree, but I also think he has the next phase already starting to be sketched out, which is ridiculous. And it allows them to just be like, yeah, this is like everything we're doing, and then focus on making a better film. So,
you know, before we transition out of one Sony story into our Tech Tuesday segment, which includes the only part of Sony I like, I just is Feige a legitimate one of a kind? Like, there's no one out there that is as equally a big a fan of a property that also has the business sense and the story and management. Like, no one else. Look how many other universes, from, you know, DC's to Sony's to the Dark Monster universe, which the way I understand they're trying to reboot for a third time. You had Dracula Untold, believe it or not, was originally supposed to kick off that Monster Universal universe. that sucked. So it was, rebooted with Mummy, and now apparently there's going to be a third one. But anyways, no one's been able to do it but Kevin Feige. And there's a lot we assume, but I think it's safe to, and wonder if you agree. If Feige walks into either of the Bob's office, Iger or the other guy, I forget his name, but either Bob's office and says, I want to do XYZ, I don't think they even question him anymore. They just say, what do you need?
I think there's a little bit more to that, but
well, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm oversimplifying, but I'm saying they trust him because it's proven. And not only that, but again, like I said, there's no one else. We haven't seen anyone else pop up. So Disney wants to keep him for certain because there's no one else.
No, there's no one else who's been able to put together the catalog of films and now television shows that Feige has, and now even bring it all under the same umbrella, because for a while, television wasn't part of the MC, the Marvel Studios, and now they even have the comics under Marvel Studios.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Right, he's got a lot going on, but he has very good people. Because if you're working under him for so long, you know his style, you know what he was going to want to do, so you're going to be able to trust these people to head different divisions of it all. And I think that it's made for such a wonderful time in pop culture as far as getting these characters to the people, and with Disney, it makes it even crazier because you have that much money and you have that much power as far as being able to bring in star power for those movies. And then your marketing is insane, because not only do you have your regular stuff, but you can create rides. I mean, they took out an iconic ride in Disneyland for Guardians of the Galaxy, and now it has its own area. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's so much that they do together that gives Feige the upper hand. But at the same time, he's earned it. He's absolutely earned it. So I'm not saying that, it's because it's with Disney. It's like, no, they started with certain films, and not all the films were 100% winners, but they chugged along.
On X3, guys.
They stuck, but they stuck with him. It's not something where like at Warner Brothers, they panic and they make knee-jerk reactions. But then again, Warner Brothers can't even keep their owners straight, their heads of offices straight. So, one moment there's this guy who thinks this thing, and then another time it's another. So
I just read AT&T spinning off selling DirecTV. Now that's all under Warner Brothers media and shit too, isn't it? Warner and AT&T.
Oh yeah, Warner Media.
Yeah,
they need to sell DC to people. Some DC comics to people who actually like comics.
Yeah. So that other Sony story, it's Tuesday. We'll talk a little bit about some technology today. Consoles. Do you do much console gaming in your life, Manny?
I am part of a clan on Modern Warfare.
There you go. Which system?
PlayStation 4.
There you go. So, from the notebookcheck.net, it's just a tech website. They reported on news they got that Sony's got some time with one of the world's top chip manufacturers, right? You gotta, when it comes to manufacturing processors, there's only so many places that actually do it and make the wafers and stuff. So you legitimately do have to book time. And in 2023, Sony is booked with the Taiwan company TSMC for some 5 nanometer chips. And the writer is assuming that this would go towards a PS5 Slim and or PS5 Pro. So it could also go towards a new laptop, tablet or, Sony TV or something like that. But it does make sense. We've seen slim models started becoming popular with the PS2. They even went backwards and gave a PS1 slim afterwards. I believe it happened that way. The PS3 got a slim, and then we started getting these with the PS4 and the Xbox One. Not only did we get slim models, we got upgrades through midlife, crisis upgrades. Both Microsoft, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox Ones both bought Corvettes, and it's a weird thing, this mid-generation upgrade, that the slim stuff made sense to me, especially for people that didn't need day one. They wait a couple years, get the smaller one, more games are out, all the bugs are fixed. But now we also have to deal with this idea of pro models. Even the Switch is rumored to be getting a pro model. Do you like that midlife upgrade cycle now, including pro models instead of just slims?
It doesn't bother me because it doesn't really affect me as a consumer. If it was going to start hindering my choice of games, then yeah, it would bother me. But it's a way to make more money, because you're only going to buy a console once until it breaks. Mm-hmm. So if you make this midlife switch to a pro, but what are the advantages? Why do I need it? Do I even need it? And there's going to be a lot of gamers out there who take things very seriously and scream at this top of the lungs like SpongeBob, I need it. And hey, if you got the money, then go for it. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with it. It's just a business. But it is strange that it's all, things like that are always planned mid, but like I said, at the same time, I think it's more of a business move than anything else, because you'd think that they'd already have the plans for a pro model and for their slim, just because of the way that you're talking. They've already booked the place. They know exactly what they're going to do, what they want to do. It's just we're not releasing it because we want people to buy the console now, right, and then have to upgrade later.
Right. The idea that it doesn't affect you as a gamer is a little off, and I'll explain. For a long time, especially once cross-platform for certain games started becoming bigger, consoles have actually been dragging games back, holding them back, I should say, graphics-wise, innovation as far as what AI and everything can do, because consoles don't have the processing power that desktops do. Right. That's just facts of life. And when you have companies that now know that, okay, we got pros with the 4, like you said, Sony's probably already reached out to major distributors like or developers like EA, third party and first party, and said, hey, yeah, we will do a slim and a pro at roughly around this point. Hank, you already will then have companies that are starting to look at that and start forming their games again at the lowest common denominator. So I kind of don't mind slims, but the idea of pros annoy me, because to me it doesn't really do much to increase the gaming experience for everyone at all. And even us, because I got a PS4 Pro. I waited, I didn't get a PS4. I didn't see any games I wanted for the longest time, and I jumped on when Final Fantasy 15 came out, and then Horizon Zero Dawn, and I got Spider-Man, which was great. But I'm cool with Slims, but I really would like to see these consoles focus hard on. You can build almost something as powerful, of course, not counting monitors and certain peripherals. You can build something more powerful than the PS5 for $500. Well, before this crypto mining shit got crazy, you could, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of against the pro thing now, even having one, just simply because it slows gaming innovation and advancement down, I guess.
Well, the other thing, it's kind of like an iPhone. You know how many iPhones now they have, and they have a couple of bells and whistles here that are fancier or better or whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still the same old iPhone. It's kind of the same way. But they really bank on that person who almost gets anxiety because they don't have the latest model, and that's why that's how they make money, man. I mean, and if you think of gaming experiences, I think you correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not well versed in the video game world, but Cyberpunk was meant to be played on a better system, and then when you didn't have that better system, it slowed it the heck down.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, but and it's kind of sad because it's like, we'll make a better console, but it's like, yeah, if you knew the work that gamers the amount of work gamers put on their PC and the amount of money they spend on it, just on like cooling systems alone sometimes, because of the processing power that is necessary to run, multiple monitors or run at a certain speed or video cards, sound cards, the whole shebang. I mean, it is ridiculous. And to think that you're going to put it all in one console, it
for $400 or less.
Yeah. But
and that's the other thing is, a lot of people don't realize is, especially the third PS3 generation forward, sold at losses for the longest time. Do you think that you could offer her, excuse me, because the PS5 regular and digital are the exact same machine, just one has no disk drive. Xbox Series X and S, on the other hand, are different. The digital Series S, not only lacks the disk drive, but it's basically like a Xbox One X Plus. and they don't really care because they're focused on that cloud streaming gaming thing with Game Pass anyhow. But do you think there's the potential, because even at the launch of the PS5, there was a better chip available, right? They chose that one for budget and cost and sales price considerations. Do you think that they could make the same money offering a mid system or a midlife upgrade if they had a PS5 Pro at launch with a better processor and a better, selling a $600 system? Not like they did with the PS3 where it started at $600, but you got your, like you said, cell phones, base model, 400 or 500, whatever, or upgraded 600, low end, 300. Do you think you could make as much, maybe more, if you did it that way?
I think, and this sounds ridiculous, but I think if you did that at launch, you'd still get people paying for it, just because of the fact that, I mean, they're scarce right now. A lot of stores, it's as soon as something hits a PS5s or Xbox hit, they take them off the shelves because they're not available. It sucks, but I don't. it goes back to what you said. Sure, you can get the more expensive model because it has these bells and whistles, but it still has to interact with the other models. Mm-hmm. So it can't be that much better.
No. And a lot of people don't even have like a lot of people don't even have the right AV setups at home to take advantage of 1080p at 60 hertz, let alone 4K at 30 frames per second. You know, my primary monitor is a 144 hertz Asus gaming monitor, and then I've got just a standard little 1080p, 60 hertz monitor off to the side. I, tweak colors and settings on my TV and all that. I mess with settings as much as I can in my consoles because I'm used to doing that with my PC. I've got this super high-end, well, not super high-end, it's mid-range gaming monitor, but compared to even my 4K TV downstairs, because this fucker runs at 144 hertz naturally, gaming looks amazing. 1080p, 144 hertz refresh rate screen. My RTX card's pumping out, 120 frames per second, like it's nobody's business. All that's 1080p looks 1,000 times better than anybody's 4K machine pumping out 30 frames per second on their 60-inch TV. But they think it looks good because they've never been taught how to change things. They've never. And I guess if I was going to end the Tech Tuesday segment with anything, it would be go and read some websites, go watch some videos, learn a lot about tuning your TV and how to do proper 4K or proper even 1080p 120 or 60 hertz setups, and do it the right way, and you guys will be amazed. And I'll tell you honestly, if you're a console gamer and you're on a budget, go out and buy a really nice, naturally 120 hertz refresh rate 1080p monitor. You don't need the 4K. You'll like that a hell of a lot better gaming at 60 frames a second solid on 1080p than you will 4K at 30. Trust me. What do you think,
my other advice to add to that is to something you said is you don't need a 60-inch TV to game. Actually, that's actually not good for gaming at all. Because, a lot of people have that misconception. Yeah, I'm going to game on a giant TV. It's like, yeah, but your face can't comprehend all of that. You need a smaller, need a smaller monitor. You need like Kyle, you're saying, it's specific. So back to your point about the Pro, sure, make the Pro, but do people really know what those specs mean? Do they know where they're going to need to make these adjustments? Or are you going to buy this Pro for so much more money that has so-and-so specs, but you don't have the hardware for it at home as far as a TV, as far as a monitor, and so you basically paid for things that you can't use because
Oh my
God. But I agree with you. Definitely do your research, learn about this stuff, because I'm sure that there's going to be, not everyone, obviously a lot of people do their homework and know their stuff in the gaming community, but you gave out a lot of numbers that people are like, I don't know. Don't know exactly what that
Companies are notorious for NVIDIA. God, those guys. I love NVIDIA's equipment most of the time, but the company themselves, they're known for throwing out model numbers like crazy and specs to confuse general consumer. It was like back in the gaming days of, it's an 8-bit system, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit. Are we going to have 128-bit? No, we're done with bits. Bits don't sell no more. We got to come up with something else.
Yeah.
Anyways, So yeah, there you guys go. That's LR Mornings today. Hey, let us know what you guys think about the Spider-Man news, the splitting of the characters of Miles and Peter potentially not having interaction. What you think Sony's going to do? I do have to agree with one thing in the article. Spider-Man No Way Home will definitely give us a clearer picture of what's going on.
Will it though? Will it?
Yes, I do. I believe it will give us a clearer picture of what the future holds for her Sony and Marvel when it comes to Spidey. Not what Sony's going to do with everyone else. I'm waiting on the freaking Demo Goblin movie to be announced, and then the what was her name's Screwball versus Freak movie to come out. The parkour girl and from the Brand New Day storylines. I'm waiting on Sony to announce Screwball versus Freak.
I'm telling you right now.
What's
Sony,
that?
I'm telling you right now, Spider-Man 4 is going to be titled Spider-Man 4, Where Are We?
They'll bring back numbers. Oh, God, I hate you, Sony. Anyways, guys, check out the website, LRMonline.com every single day for all your entertainment news needs and opinions. The YouTube channel, all of our podcasts. You guys see we're starting to do videos, even though I don't have my whole setup the way I want to. I'm getting it piece by piece. And then check out the YouTube channel, or the podcast channel, wherever you get podcasts from. Lots of great shows, Marvel Multiverse Mondays, Anime-Versal Reviews, the Cantina, LRMornings, Breaking Geek. So much content, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Please help us give you free content. And Manny, where can people find you at online?
Online, you can find me on Twitter at _LRM. No, not underscore. Whoa, reset. At LRM_Emmanuel. And then on Instagram at riddlemethis_510.
You guys can find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter. At that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. That's number one. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Hey, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Smack the fuck out of my computer. Take that.